The announcement echoed through Hillstone Air Force Base like a thunderclap. Captain Riley James has officially declined a personal invitation from former President Donald J. Trump. The words hit the mess hall with full force. Forks paused midair. Conversations stopped. A junior officer even dropped his coffee, splattering it across the table. "She what?" someone whispered. It didn't make sense, not at first. Captain Riley James was a respected figure on base. Top of her flight class, multiple commendations, a two-time deployment leader. She was sharp, disciplined, and unshakably loyal to her squadron. If anyone had earned the honor of dining with a former commander-in-chief, it was her. Trump was visiting the base as part of a high-profile veteran recognition tour. Only a few officers had been selected for a private roundtable lunch, a symbolic gesture to honor exemplary service members. Riley's name was at the top of the guest list, so when she quietly responded, "With respect, I can't accept," people didn't know how to react. There was no outburst, no press release, no dramatic explanation, just a calm refusal. And yet, the silence that followed was louder than any speech. Officers exchanged glances. Rumors started immediately. Was it political, personal, defiant? In a place where every move is protocol, Captain Riley's quiet no echoed louder than a sonic boom. And nobody, not even her closest comrades, knew the full story. Yet, she flew aircraft with the kind of precision most could only study in textbooks. Calculated, calm, and unshakably focused. She trained new cadets with quiet intensity, expected excellence, and rarely raised her voice. Her father, a retired Army colonel, once called her the quiet thunder, the kind of leader who didn't need noise to command a room. Her commanding officer said it best. She spoke less, did more, and made everyone better for it. So when news spread that she had refused a personal invitation from former President Donald Trump, it sent shockwaves through the base. Some were shocked, others were angry. Whispers circled the barracks. Was it a political stunt? Is she making a statement? Doesn't she care about the honor? But what no one saw was what Riley had been carrying inside for years. Her younger brother, Noah, had followed in her footsteps, joining the Air Force at 18. He idolized her. But after a difficult deployment, Noah came home, changed. The light in his eyes had dimmed. Diagnosed with PTSD, he faced a broken system. Delayed appointments, paperwork errors, denied claims. He tried to hang on. He said he didn't want to be a problem. 6 months later, he ended his life. Riley stayed in the service, but she was never the same. And she never forgot who held office during the months when her brother needed help the most. That quiet refusal? It came from pain, not protest. When she quietly declined the invitation, she hoped it would end there. A private choice made with personal meaning. But within days, whispers turned to headlines. Anonymous posts and base gossip painted her refusal as a political statement. Some said she was anti-military. Others accused her of disrespecting the flag or seeking media attention. None of it was true. She wasn't trying to rebel. She was trying to grieve. With dignity. So she did what she always did. Speak clearly, without noise. Riley sat down at her desk late one evening and wrote a letter. Not for the world. Not for headlines. But for the man who sent the invitation. She didn't post it online. She didn't call a reporter. She sent it directly to Trump's office. It read, "I serve because I believe in this country. But I cannot sit at a table and smile while my brother's memory goes ignored. During his darkest months, the support he earned never came." This isn't about politics. It's about promises, and how it feels to watch someone you love disappear because help arrived too late. I respectfully decline your invitation. I will not dishonor his struggle with silence. She signed it with nothing more than Captain Riley James, U.S. Air Force. No hashtags, no press kit, just truth. But somehow, the letter was leaked. And what followed was something even she didn't expect. The world finally listened. Within hours of Captain Riley James's letter being leaked online, it spread like wildfire. Veterans reposted it with tears in their eyes. Gold Star families, those who had also lost loved ones in uniform, began sharing their own stories. Mental health professionals praised Riley's courage and clarity. Even politicians and public figures who rarely agreed on anything found common ground in her words. What united them all was simple. Her pain was real, and her voice mattered. By the end of the day, the hashtag for Noah was trending globally. News anchors recited her letter on air. Op-eds praised her as a symbol of integrity. Some tried to make it political, but most people saw something deeper. This wasn't about party lines. This was about the price of silence. Dozens of major media outlets reached out, offering Riley time slots, TV appearances, even a book deal. She declined them all. Instead, she chose to speak once, quietly, on a little-known military podcast. Her voice was steady, her words few. If turning down a chair at that table creates one more seat at a therapy session for someone like my brother, then I did the right thing. That quote alone made global headlines. Trump's team eventually released a formal statement. We respect Captain James's decision and acknowledge the importance of her message. We remain committed to supporting veterans. But by then, the conversation had shifted. It wasn't about who she refused. It was about why. And that made all the difference. Months passed. Captain Riley James remained the same on paper, still flying missions, still training recruits, still avoiding interviews and headlines. But beneath the routine, something had shifted. Not just around her, but across the entire force. Her letter had done more than start a conversation. It had sparked change. A new bipartisan bill called the NOAA Act was introduced in Congress, named after her brother. The act promised faster mental health support, streamlined benefits processing, and mandatory check-ins for returning service members. It was signed into law within months. Riley didn't speak at the press conference. She didn't stand on stage. She stood silently in the back row, in uniform, holding a framed photo of Noah in his flight cadet gear. A senator gestured to her and said, "We wouldn't be here without her courage." Soon, across military bases nationwide, soldiers began speaking openly about mental health. Officers who once avoided the topic were now creating safer, more compassionate environments. One commander even added mental health briefings to the core training program, calling it the Riley Standard. Riley received thousands of letters. One came from a 19-year-old airman. "I lost my brother too. You gave me words I couldn't say." She pinned it inside her locker, not to show off, but to never forget why she spoke up. At a base ceremony, she received a medal for leadership and quiet integrity. She stepped forward and said, "I didn't decline to make a statement. I did it because someone had to say, we can't lose one more Noah." Sometimes saying no to the spotlight shines a light on what truly matters.